Those 7 minutes. 1. Invitation. June 28th, 2073. Draco, whatever. We'll stick with Draco from now on, to avoid the other Drake comparisons. Most people call him Draco anyway, despite the fact that he prefers a more human-sounding name. Anyway, it was around 7 a.m. when Draco was awoken by a banging at his front door. His heart raced. It sometimes did that when he was suddenly woken up. He assumed it was because of adrenaline from his fight-or-flight response being triggered or something. All he could think was, what does Siren want this time? He stumbled over to the door. He peered through the peephole. No one was in sight. He grabbed the knob and sluggishly opened the door. On the ground was an untaped cardboard box. It was then that he remembered that Siren was out doing some sort of stupid adventure. He took it inside. He opened it. Inside was a VHS tape labeled invitation, in quotation marks. God, they still make these things? Draco said. Luckily, he had a VCR. Siren made him get one because he loved analog horror so dearly and bought the VHS tapes that some were in. He put the tape in and waited with great anticipation. It buzzed on. It was some strange character in a white void. There was also the number 6 in the corner of the screen. Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. My name's Crystalline. I'm the Three's mascot that nobody asked for. If you're seeing this video, that means you've been drafted. Draco's heart started racing even faster. Into the best time of your life, that is. You have been chosen to work for Queen Emerald herself. You are to report to the greenhouse at 7 a.m. on the 7th of July. Someone will be there and let you in, to which you will enter the library but not look in any closets. Books dated in the year 1987. Doors that you could have sworn weren't there before, or rooms with strange symbols on them. The video shut off. Is this required? He asked as if the TV were going to turn back on and say yes. Under the assumption that it was indeed required, Draco went on with the next 9 days with Humber, or Naqi, or dorselessness. July 7th, 2073. Come July 7th, Draco arrived to a very pleased what's-it-called. You're an hour late. Get in there before she finds out. Shush your hyperbolic face. It was only 57 minutes. That's a 3-minute difference. It's the same thing. Oh, 3, the divine number. He gave Draco the stink eye. So where's the library? He just pointed to the double door at the end of the entrance hall. Ah, I see. So he went on his merry way. That library was very grand and very dark. A library was certainly not the place for moody lighting. How would anybody be able to read? Then again, who's reading in the big 73? He traced the edge of old books going down each shelf. The tip of his finger was black by the end of the first one. God, these haven't been touched since 2026 or something, he whispered to himself. They sure seem to be. There were copies of books Draco had never even heard of. Who is Close? The Yellow Wallpaper, The Russian Sleep Experiment, and even I Have No Mouth and I Must. Scream like a banshee. I've found you for real this time. You are like the best at hiding when you don't even try. A whole hour is quite the record-breaking time. What? Hi, I'm Bqevkic. I'm the Queen's other assistant. You'll be with her on the main floor and I will be with her downstairs. Do you go... Anyway, I suggest you get with her. In the wise words of I forgot his name, you don't want to see her when she gets angry, or some bullshit like that. So he followed Bqevkic to where the Queen was. April 16th, 2026. Hi, storyteller here. Did Siren ever mention that this installment was actually meant to be short? It only exists to give context for certain details in another installment that was part of the original trilogy of those falling under the base title, Planet 7675Y. Most of what you are about to hear is pure filler and contains little to no lore significance. Sit back and enjoy the story. 2. Abuse. July 7th, 2073, 8:20 a.m. Could you move it a little to the left? She directed. How would moving it help? I thought we were chiseling something. The concrete block had been pushed around one too many times. She stared at it for a bit, pretending to measure it out in her head. I know, I'm just abusing your strength and wasting your time. Draco hadn't realized that he'd be Emerald's toy for the next however many hours. He looked over at King Ruby and mouthed the phrase, "This is legal?" oblivious to the fact that Ruby would not be able to see what he was saying because he was wearing a hood. Ruby just shrugged and wagged his finger at the side of his head, signifying to Draco that he believed Emerald to be crazy. To the left. You know what? Why don't we just... He formed his throwing spear and struck the top right corner of the block. It comically crumbled into a carefully chiseled-looking dodecahedron. Emerald gasped a little but changed her mind. She can't be impressed by someone below her. It's missing pizzazz and stupidity. 9:07 a.m. Emerald handed him a stack of papers that were all different colors. "Sort them by color and then throw them away," she said. "Why do I have to sort them? I'm literally gonna throw..." Why do I have to sort them? She mocked. "You're here to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to do as I tell you so. So if you'd like your brain to continue making synapses, I suggest you comply." She turned around and sashayed off. When Draco had finished, he went back to where the library was, but he found that the door to it had now a left turn as opposed to only the right, the one that he came from. Down that new hallway was a door. It was a dark red, almost maroon. It had 3 glowing dots in the middle, surrounded by 7 smaller ones. 6 dots lined the bottom and 9 at the top. There was also strange text above the middle group of dots. He cautiously stepped over to it. Part of him wanted to leave and go back to the Queen, but a greater portion of him was far too curious. He gripped the door's knob. He felt shivers down his spine and out to the very tip of his tail. He swung it open, and a gust of air almost blew his hood off. Inside was a bqiesaqi. I really can't say this because of potential YouTube age restriction. Fine. It will be described in the language of incognite mirrors. The following section will be in the description, along with the decoder. Translate at your own risk. Inside was a bqiesaqi naqi corfars efumx. Os ver rossomf in naqi kopaoc zkebj. Vesbgomf suqsaqi nuqm. Os ver ekru lersaqzesomf. Suqsaqi nuqm. Os rseqsic ballomf lejomf sgiri ciin muorir. dqul ziers'r rilim bqevkic lemx rimseqoem disarir. That was when Draco slammed the door shut again. He had seen enough. 3. Impossibly improbable. 12:22 p.m. "How many syzygies do you think are happening in this micro-instant?" asked Geki. Draco looked up at the ceiling, which was painted to resemble the night sky. "Not sure. Hey, it's probably something crazy like 2.9 septillion. 2.9 septillion? What are you counting in the other universes, too?" "The other what?" Nothing." She looked away for a brief moment. She cleared her throat. "I'd say it's probably like 3,222,000. 2.9 septillion is impossibly improbable. But what do I know?" 1:10 p.m. Draco had just finished carving his message into the wall of a closet when Emerald came over to him once again with more mindless orders. "Come with me to the dining room," she said. She briskly made her way to the door that led to it, but stopped just before entering. She looked at Draco. "Please make haste." He reluctantly followed her. The table was lined with plates that had a strange gelatinous substance on them. She picked one up and shoved it forward to him, almost flinging it off of the plate. "Eat it." "Why? I'm not eating that." "Just eat it." "What even is it? I'm not eating the stuff you treat me like." "What?" "You treat me like shit. I don't even think I'm getting paid. Why on Borealis should I not just walk through those damn doors and get out of here?" "Because you can't, and your behavior recently is what one could say is that of a bad employee. Are you a bad employee?" Before he could answer, she sashayed off again, but... "Come along now. I have something special to show you." She clapped twice, and something hit Draco in the back of the head extremely hard. 4. Yes, you are. Draco woke up in a very hot and claustrophobic place. All he smelled was mold and metal. All he saw was an ominous red glow from two openings that appeared to be eye holes. All he heard was gears and sizzling. All he felt was himself trying not to brush up against what was comprising the interior of whatever he was in. And all he tasted was blood and stupidity. He heard footsteps approaching from the right. His heart was beating faster than it did even those 9 days ago. "I'm so very sorry, Draco." Or Drake. You can't pretend to have a human name and expect everyone to just accept it. You're not a human, and you never will be. You see, the very object you are currently in is from a foreign universe, albeit one adjacent to our own. Its original intent was for children's entertainment. It was a wearable suit that doubled as a standalone animatronic. The details of how it works are irrelevant. However, the failures of such a suit when worn was too tempting to pass up on. We took some of the blueprints and modified it to make the perfect. She pulled a lever, which activated what looked like a portal. Execution machine. The best at a silent end. Of course, not literally silent. Screams are typically loud. She placed a mirror above him and angled it so that he could see the thing. She threw a strange ball in it and shut it off. As for you, there was a theory long ago that stated that the brain activity observed after one dies is actually a final, intense, dreamlike replay of memories of sorts. It was believed that the deceased individual was experiencing their entire life once more. The activity usually lasted around 7 minutes, and Draco, you're in those 7 minutes. Yes, you are. She sighed. Draco couldn't even think in words. It was just emotion. But it wouldn't last long. Fire it up! The mechanism, just 0.75 inches away from every part of his body, slipped out of place. Draco's entire world turned black as the endoskeleton's face came loose and clamped around his head. He felt his eyeballs get crushed as the skeleton's globes were forced into his sockets. He felt his cheeks split and his teeth crack as the mouth segments swung out to meet each other inside his jaw. Two metal beams sprang from either side, piercing his eardrums. At the same time, several large metal plates began crushing his head from all sides. He tried to yell but was already gargling his own blood, which spilled from his mouth and began trickling throughout the suit. More metallic clunks echoed around the place as the trickling blood started a chain reaction of multiple spring lock failures. This would have been ever so slightly less painful if it weren't for that. Draco laid there jerking in place as multiple metal beams and cogs began shooting through his soft tissues. His tail, which had been pressed up against one of his legs the whole time, was shredded like pulled pork. He could feel the metal probes forcing spinal segments through his body. He lost feeling below the waist, but the metal legs held him firm as his spinal cord was severed. He tried to scream again, but the air erupted from the holes in his chest, followed by a red mist from his pierced lungs. Another clunk echoed around the red space as the hard plastic parts were driven through the holes into his body. The tears in his abdomen finally met as one, and his organs fell out into the suit. A final spring lock went in his crotch as his stomach acid spilled over it, and his nether regions were skewered. With every lock now open, the suit maneuvered itself into a default pose with the mouth slightly open and one hand up in a waving position. Draco could not smell. He could not see. He could not hear. He could not even move or speak. All he could do was feel the pain and the life slowly draining from him and the shock setting in. It was a slow death, but eventually he began to feel cold. He could feel everything getting heavy, and within the space of a few minutes, his brain made its final synapse. But then, Draco was finally able to see again. It was a little blurry. It was bright and beautiful for certain, but what he was seeing in front of him was shrouded in mystery. It was definitely a structure of some sort. Ah, yes, they were pearly, and they were gates. He could see clearly now. Standing in front of him was a sentry angel accompanied by two other angels. "What are you waiting for?" the sentry angel said. "Are you not going to come in? You've been standing there for 7 minutes now." So Draco entered the gates unaware of the great deed he will do the universe. The universe of the divine? What would become the universe of the Enovid? Mors tribus auris, and life to the end of it, and all. Those 7 minutes, by Sib O.I., DINO&CreepY.